Welcome to the Whiskey Vault.
I'm Daniel.
I am Rex, and we are drinking whiskey today. Even though it's kind of early, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Daniel, what whiskey is in the bottle, and why aren't you pouring it yet? You're just going to stand there and let me sing this song that will never end, because when I have to think of words this slowly, I never have to stop, because even though I'm not the smartest man in the world, this is slow enough for me to always come up with another
You lost your
word.
rhythm.
I can still go. Everybody stop watching. Let's give people another long reason.
That's the end of the video right there.
Another long reason to not watch this episode at all.
So this is a gift from Kat Rajnay and Shane Jeffcoat.
Titans of whiskey.
Daniel, in the distance, do you hear it?
I do.
It sounds like purer glory.
Kat Rajnay and Shane Jeffcoat.
Cheers, you magnificent bastards!
This is the skull of solidarity. Did you know? Because I'm rocking the skull of solidarity for as long as there's a shelter-at-home protocol somewhere in the U.S.
Oh, period.
Somewhere in the U.S.
Okay, wow.
Somewhere in the-
Not
'cause
just Texas.
They lifted it for Texas. No.
That's
This
smart,
isn't the
yeah.
Texas whiskey tribe.
That's true.
It's the whiskey tribe.
Okay.
Now, I'm not benevolent enough to do the world.
Oh, just the U.S.
Just the U.S.
Okay.
I love y'all outside the U.S., but I do need to stay married. So
Yeah, I was going to say, well, that's really, does Brandy know that it's U.S.? Because she might be thinking tomorrow's the end.
She was very excited. She sent me the news article about Texas lifting the shelter at home.
Uh-huh.
And say, well, that's, that's good, but
U.S.
solidarity.
She's like, you. There's a flip-off emoji graphic.
There's been a few MPs in the, we'll get to the whiskey. Calm down. Calm down. We'll get to the whiskeys. There's been a few magnificent bastards doing their own skullets of solidarity.
Really?
Yes.
Ah, no way. That's awesome.
Which, why? I wouldn't recommend this for anybody. I mean, that's hilarious, but yeah.
Okay, so I'm excited about this one. This is Auchentoshan.
Yes.
And I like Auchentoshan.
Yes.
I'm a fan.
Oh, wow.
This is one called the Bartender's Malt.
Did we really just screw around for like 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah, we did.
On the beginning of a major brand's video?
Yes. Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's about right.
So this is one that, it's sort of a press thing, right?
Yeah.
But according to them, this is cool that, brands are trying to get people involved.
Yep.
Brands are trying to get community involved, and you got to honor it even if it's baby steps. So
yes.
they had 12 bartenders who are like pretty renowned bartenders.
Right.
Come in and blend a Auchentoshan specifically angled towards bartenders.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if they mean like bartenders as paragons of taste or bartenders as like mint for mixing in cocktails and fancy
Okay. I have a lot of opinions about big brands trying to do the community thing.
Yes, me too. Anyway, but they pulled whiskey from 5 decades.
Wow.
So there's stuff even from the 1970s in here.
Yeah.
So there's no age statement on it, but it's somewhere in the at least like 8 to 10 years old kind of situation in theory, right? So the early 2010s, and so in theory, it could be like 7, 8-year-old malt all the way mixed in with some things that are like 40 plus years old.
A malty brine with a little bit of a vegetation in there.
See, I get this vegetation note in Auchentoshan a lot, and I kind of like it. It's what turned me on to Auchentoshan a little bit. It's this almost mulch floor, but it's dry.
Yeah.
So it's all the mulch and dried leaves and forest floor.
The kinds of forests we don't have here.
Right.
Yeah.
But not damp like Oregon forest floor.
Right.
But like South Carolina, dried pine leaves and earth and dirt kind of thing, right?
See that, yeah. But those are the two main things I'm getting. Like a briny, malty element with that vegetation. And it's kind of almost, I think dry is a better word than dusty.
Yeah, the sherry and the wine casks in this blend have definitely taken over, but it doesn't just smell like sherry. My guess if there is sherry in this, it's dominantly Oloroso sherry because it's got that light, almost almond bready note.
Yeah.
But I really like the nose. The cool thing about Auchentoshan for me is that they triple distill, which leads to this lighter malt, but the all malt barley and this Scottish approach to barrel use and things, sherry cask and things, brings this depth back into it. So you get this Auchentoshan always gives me this combination of a lighter original spirit mixed with a heavier aging
I was just about
combo.
to say, this for me lives in the middle ground between the extreme ends of the Scotch flavor spectrum.
Yep.
It's between the sweet, friendly, Speyside-y, fruity flavors, and then just the heavy, smoky, intense Lafroigs and the Ardbegs and Octomores and that kind of stuff. It feels like it's living in this place right in the middle where you get elements from both sides.
Try it.
It's not all the way smoky and challenging. It's not all the way sweet and pretty and effortless.
When you try it, it does exactly the same thing that we were saying on the palate. It does this like bright, shiny, citrusy, thin note.
Yeah.
But then it sort of unveils into sweet, rich notes from the sherry and wood casks. And then it just lingers and clings down.
It does.
So here's the thing with Auchentoshan, and I usually can spot Auchentoshan really quickly because of this one thing. No matter what it tastes like in the palate. Every time we try Balcones, you get that deep throat tickle from the heavy oil. That makes you like, oh, it's rich and
So Balcones is more of like a specific flavor for me than
I always get this oily tannic tickle right in the base of my throat every Balcones. That's why even when I tried their rye whiskey, it was like, oh, this is Balcones because I get that oil. Auchentoshan hits me right here in the back of the throat, but still in basically where when you swallow and your tongue hits the back of your throat. That's where it hits me, and it gives me this sort of numb, antiseptic kind of feeling.
Okay, I can feel that's where certainly a lot of the denser flavors kind of spread out pretty far back. And there's some type of quality in here.
I think it doesn't let go.
There's some type of quality in here that, even though I think you mentioned there's some really old whiskeys blended in, there's some type of a young whiskey element in there. It's kind of living up high.
So here's the thing, I would agree with you, except for yesterday.
Yeah?
I had a 17-year-old cask strength Auchentoshan.
Yeah, wow, 17 years.
And it tasted this young. It had the same young note that I described it as like, it feels like it could be young, but I don't think it is young. And what I attribute that to is the triple distillation. And it has these lighter, brighter notes that would make you think this is a younger, shinier whiskey, even when it isn't. So it could be that the 8-year-old or 7-year-old Auchentoshan is standing up really brightly. It could just be that light note is Auchentoshan trademark. So I'm going to pour the 12 for you.
Okay. And was this just for an AB?
Just for an AB because this is a classic.
The 12 is the one that's more readily available?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's more perfumey on the nose.
And it's light. It doesn't have any of the fruit density. And it's got way more of the oil in the back of the throat.
I get less of that vegetation and more of a floral element, a perfumey floral.
More honey. This bartender one I actually prefer a lot, but only if you like sherry cask.
You know,
the bartender malt takes it way more in the sherry fruit direction.
I'm still on the nose. On the nose, I'm leaning towards the 12.
Yeah, it's got more punch.
More punch, and it feels a little bit more balanced. A little bit less vegetation, a little bit more floral. I like the floral notes.
The 12 is at 40. The bartender's malt is at 47. Mm-hmm. 47. Why 47?
I don't know. I like these weird proof numbers.
Yeah.
The ABV. Because if it's 40%, you're usually just going for the floor. You're going to make the most money possible. That's the lowest you can sell it at. If it's 46, then it's like, well, that's the lowest you can do while still not having the chill filter. Okay? If it's 50%, then you just want that 100 proof number, right? And cash strength, you just want that purity proof. You want the swagger you get with something cash strength. But anything weird, like a 44%,
you don't
or
think
47,
47 is a little too try hard?
Oh, I like
because it's so close to 46?
No, I like that because it, to me, and I could be wrong, but to me it's a signal that they're really trying to dial in what the ideal proof is for that particular whiskey.
Well, whatever it is, it tastes great, and I much prefer it to the 12.
We got John Inks. So I have chicken breast set out to grill tomorrow. I have never done a marinade before. How do I do that with bourbon? I usually just use garlic salt powder and Italian seasoning and onion salt powder right before I start cooking. Mm-hmm. Cooking tips?
Yeah, so put them in the comments because I'm curious as to the people who actually cook.
Right.
Can you leave a marinade in too long?
Man, there's this channel here in Austin. I think his name is Josh Weissman, cooking channel.
Okay.
And the dude is killing it. He makes like really entertaining content and really engaging personality. And I'm sure he's super into whiskey too.
Okay.
He recently did a whiskey episode on his channel. Check out his channel. Josh Weissman, I believe it is. He's based here in Austin, and he did a whiskey episode within the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
Really interesting and good episode there. Yeah, give him some love.
Also, check out Chrissy Martin's Little Dab of Bourbon.
Yeah.
She is primarily focused on bourbons, but it seems like bourbon could make a really good marinade because of the sweet notes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you hear a lot of that bourbon sauce, bourbon marinade type of stuff. I have no idea how to do it.
Yeah, me
but
either.
somebody that's into whiskey that does that kind of cooking content, they probably have some really good advice. We got the Derek Mitchell. If alcohol-free whiskey was a thing, would you drink it? It is, well, go ahead.
So we have, and it was terrible. But
it wasn't even whiskey.
It wasn't whiskey. It wasn't even trying. I mean, it's trying to be whiskey. It was terrible. It was terrible.
Right.
However, we have multiple times argued if you could replicate this flavor, taste, and experience exactly
Without the inebriation.
Yep. All day.
Sure.
I'm in on that.
Yeah. No, it's whenever you are like deeply like a hobbyist and enthusiast, you really get into the whiskey. Sometimes you want to go exploring, but you're kind of forced to stop because it's getting a little bit too sloppy with the alcohol content.
If they came up with some kind of pill you could take that neutralized the impact of alcohol in your stomach
and it didn't,
and bloodstream, but your mouth and nose and everything else was the same,
sure.
I would take it every day if it was healthy.
I would take it many days. There's some days where maybe I would like to partake of some alcoholic content.
Yeah, no, I get that too.
Yes.
But I obsess over tea, and there's no benefit from that in any kind of inebriation way.
In my experience, the alcohol-free whiskeys that aren't whiskeys, they're just trying to replicate a lot of the same flavors that you find in whiskeys.
Bad.
They're bad the way that we review things on the show, which is primarily a neat pour. If you start doing them in cocktails, supposedly...
Dude, I don't think that
supposedly it's a lot less bad.
Maybe there are other ones, but that one I don't think can even survive a cocktail.
Well, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
And those people were, not only was it a bad product, they were also assholes behind the scenes.
Yeah. They got a little...
But
they got their
there's a lot of
feelings
products that I've seen that if no one's really suggesting you do it neat. But if you were trying to make some cocktails, and it makes a reasonable substitute for cocktails. Yeah. All right. I dig it. Interesting bottling there. You say you like the...
I like the bartender malt better than the 12.
It's a close
because
one
of
for
the
me.
sherry cask.
It's a close one for me. I think they're both really nice if you like the spectrum of Auchentoshan flavors. Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight me, I fight for a friend.
Steal me, steal your lover's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us.